in the public exhibition of films and TV programs which violated censorship rules and regulations. I had a first-hand experience, especially during the early years of martial law, because at the time, we lived near Nepacu Mart, if you are familiar with EDSA, where Mercury Drug is now. That was our compound. And a bit distance toward Cubao, which is now a church, it was the Grand Theater. And the owner of that was my Lola's friend. So I said, Lola, I wanted to watch Sakada. That was the film of Ben Cervantes. Okay. So okay, I went to Grand. Later, eto na, the owner. Ay, hindi ka namin ganyan-ganyan. There's something wrong, ganyan-ganyan. So, nilabas nila ako sa back door. Kasi pala, parating na yung at that time, Philippine Constabulary. Nagmamarcha na yung police kasi isasara nila yung Grand Theater at huhulihin lahat ng nanonood doon. Kasi yung Sakada violated yung rules ng Marcos. Kasi di ba, it talked about yung plight ng mga sugarcane workers, di ba? So yun. Kaya nga, yun first-hand experience ko yun na gano'n. Buti nga, kaibigan ng lola ko yung may-ari. Before any film could be exhibited, okay? I think this is until now. When you produce a film, okay, you're required to file an application for a permit to exhibit, MTRCB Form 0286. So there were a lot of requirements like certification from the processing studio or laboratory declaring the total number of prints made. Kasi hindi ka pwedeng may underground kang supply ng print ng film mo, synopsis of the film, pati yung script, tinitignan, registration receipt from the Screenwriters Guild, tapos maraming form ng MTRCB, etc. Kailangan isubmit mo to prior sa iyong pag-produce ng film. Then, pagka na-produce na yung film mo, sasabit mo yung film, may review session that is called by the board. Tapos nandun na yung kapalaran ng film mo. Kadalasan ang practice nila, dinedeny ng MTRCB na hindi kami nagka-cut ng film. Kasi, sasabihin lang naman namin sa producer, kung gusto mong pumasaya, i-cut mo. So, kakat ng producer. So, technically, hindi nga naman sila nagka-cut ng film. Kasi, buti nga ngayon, mas may open-mindedness na sa MTRCB. Basta may value siya at motivation for the story. Hindi na yun masyadong binibigyan ng pansin. Yung bawa, meron kang natanggal lang yung strap ng bra. Dati kasi matanggal lang yun out na yun, deleted. Tsaka pagka merong linya na parang nag-iinsulto kay First Lady, tatanggalin din yun. Tapos yung pag minamock mo, lalo na si First Lady, yun, yari ka sa kanya. So, pero hindi pareho ang pagpapatupad ni Marcos sa local at sa foreign films. Mas mapagbigay yung board sa foreign films. Foreign films went through the same review session, but there were no set criteria directing the deletion of materials from these films because the Marcos government did not want to displease other countries and discourage them from investing in the Philippines. In effect, the censorship rules imposed on foreign-made films were lax compared to those imposed on local films. So, nakikipaglaro talaga si Marcos. Actually nga, there was a case before, yung film ni Spielberg, yung about the Holocaust, Schindler's List. Kasi may mga eksena doon na parang hindi sang-ayon ang gobyerno natin. Tapos pero kinailangan payagan. Kasi baka magalit daw ang Israel, magalit ang US, Kaya, pinalabas pa rin sa atin. Tapos, meron ding case ng foreign film, yung The Last Emperor. Nung napanood ko yun sa Thailand, banned yung scene, dinilit yung scene where Puyi cut his wrist. No? Kasi may batas sa Thailand at sa mga countries na merong mga kaharian tulad din ng Malaysia, na ang tawag nila leste majeste, no? Na parang hindi ka dapat magpakita ng images ng na negative sa royalty na maka-affect sa kanilang image with the people. So tinanggal yun. Pero nung napanood ko dito sa Pilipinas, kasama yung slitting of the wrist by Puyi. So, at walang pinapatawad ang MTRCB, lalo na yung works of new cinema filmmakers. Okay, ano ba to, itong new cinema filmmakers? Sila, sa aking pananaliksik, may tatlo akong classifications na binigay. Yung tinatawag na the first generation, the second generation, and the third generation. Ngayon, ano ba ang kakaiba dito? Sabi nga, among the events in the social history of the Filipino people, the declaration of martial law has had the most profound and insidious effect because we have enjoyed freedom of self-government for 27 years after the 1945 liberation of the country. And then in 1972, this will be cut short and curtailed by one man. The arts is the most affected. Okay, so essentially, okay, because the arts are the most sensitive, okay, to change among the sectors of the society, and art is a form of expression, and it plays an important role in the dissemination of ideas and visions about the society. Film as an art form assumed its position as a barometer and under certain conditions, okay, an instrument of social change. Soon after the introduction of the late 1800s of this medium called the cinematograph. Sabi nga, movies are very sensitive to the nation's mood. So martial law in the Philippines was characterized by a highly centralized form of government with political and economic power in the hands of Marcos and his wife, their cronies, and the military. To complement this, a centralized media structure was engineered through the takeover by the military of all national and international communication facilities in the Philippines, and the transfer of ownership of all media operations to Marcos's political allies. Kaya actually nung time na to, lumaki kasi ako sa ABS-CBN, yung sa matandang si Eugenio Lopez. At isa sa unang sinequester ng gobyerno ni Marcos ang ABS-CBN dahil kaaway niya ang mga Lopez. At ganun din, nagka-experience din ako dyan kasi may studio, whatever presentation kami as kids. Then suddenly, nagkakagulo. So ganun din, lahat ng mga bata dinala sa back door din ng ABS-CBN kasi dumarating na yung mga pulis ni Marcos. Kasi nga, kaya kasama dyan sa mga hinuli na broadcasters like si Noli De Castro, namuli yan. Tapos yung uncle ko na nagtatrabaho sa ABS, hinuli rin. No? Kasi nga, hindi ka pwede magkaroon ng oppositional view. Yun ang gusto ni Marcos. Okay? So, pero kasi, mahirap i-control ang art. Kasi ibang form of expression siya. Hindi naman siya katulad ng radyo words, di ba? Diretso. Pero ang art, di ba? Ano yun individuated reading yung art. Kahit lalo na ng film. Okay? Kaya, yung sinasabi nga na socio-political events during martial law resulted in a creative revolution. Ito yung sabi ko kanina. It is an intricate dance and romantic relationship between Marcos and cinema. Okay? And it's a creative revolution through which artistic forms such as literature, painting, the theater, and film could no longer remain isolated from the existing oppression. The seed for this artistic revolt was sowed prior to martial law with the surge of a nationalist sentiment in the late 60s. So noon pa, siguro ferment na lang pagdating ng martial law. Okay. So, nagkaroon ng recognition of Filipino films as an important cultural product and a mass medium in support of the nationalist movement. Si Sir Bien Lumbera, sinabi niya na isinulong ng bagong kilusang makabayan ang mataas na pagpapahalaga sa masang Pilipino at ang pelikula ay anyong pangkulturang lubusang tinatangkilik ng masa upang maunawaan nila ang masa at ang niloloob nito. Sinikap ng mga kabataan at intelektual sa kolehiyo at universidad na basahin at panoorin ang mga babasahin at panoorin kinagigiliwan ng masa. So, nagkaroon ng new film consciousness. And this was supported by universities through courses like film theory, filmmaking, movements such as Italian neorealism, French New Wave. Ito yung mga una lang naming tinuturo sa dating Film and Audiovisual Department ng ngayon na UP Film Institute. Tapos, nagkakaroon ng politicized ideological orientations. At itong new cinema of the Philippines, may ibang klase siya o unique na pamamaraan na at dito yung tinatawag na using metaphors to create narratives. So, kasi nung panahon ni Marcos, hindi siya pumapayag na may pelikulang lalabas that will deal with the current times. So, syempre pag nag-deal ka with the current times, hindi yagi ka as a producer. So, ginawa nitong mga new cinema filmmakers, ay kasama dito sila Ishmael Bernal, sila Lino Broca, gumamit sila ng paraan ng pagpapahayag ng internal problems ng ating lipunan through metaphoric narratives. So, at kadalasan din, ginamit nila ang historical approach sa narration para itong mga pelikulang ito na sa unang tingin ng mga tauhan ni Marcos, historical film lang naman yan tungkol sa panahon ng Kastila. Kasi hindi nila alam, parang sa kisap mata, nila akalain na metaphor pala yun, na yung bida, si Silayan, yung father sa kisap mata. Tapos masyado siyang control na actually metaphor din for Marcos. Or yung batch 81, metaphor din yung for martial law. So, ganoon ang pagtahi-tahi ng naratibo sa pamamagitan ng pelikula. So, kaya talagang naiiba siya. Actually, nung panahon na yan, kaunti lang ang tumatangkilik sa mga pelikula ng ating mga new cinema filmmakers. Marahil yung pwede mo sabihin na hindi handa ang Filipino audience sa mga ganoong pelikula dahil ang sikat noon formula films, song and dance, bubugan, yan. Tapos actually nauso na ngayon yung ST films, yung Kamison films. So, medyo mas gusto yon noon ng Filipino viewers kesa sa mga trabahong tulad ng Tinimbangkang, ngunit kulang. Natungkol kay Kuwala. Tapos, or Maynila sa mga kuko ng liwanag. Or yung mga pelikula like Pagdating sa Dulo, Ishmael Bernal, o kaya yung Lunal sa Tubig. Yung mga ganon. Noon, hindi naman talaga siya tinatangkilik. Pero, dahil sa mga universidad, pwede rin namin siyang ipalabas. So, naipapalabas sa mga ang mga estudyante ng universidad at siguro na ipapasa ng word of mouth yung kagalingan ng pelikula. Pero noon talaga wala. So, the new cinema artists included both directors and screenwriters. They broke into the industry in 1970. Lino Broca directed the film that ushered in the movement. And it was through Tinimbangkang Ngunit Kulang and followed by Maynila sa mga buko ng liwanag. Ito yung nag-usher in sa konsepto ng new cinema of the Philippines. And then later, marami na rin kasamahan ni Lino Broca ang sumali sa movement na ito. Kasi sa totoo lang, it was a film movement. Okay, so for instance, so both Broca and Bernal were grounded in academics, theater, and film theory, and they used this for their filmmaking. And then also, the innovative use of film language gave Filipino cinema a degree of respectability and sophistication. And then later, kasama na dito sila Lupita Concho Kasiwa, actually Lupita Kasiwahara na siya ngayon, si June Raquisa, Mario O'Hara, Ben Cervantes, Eddie Romero, Mike De Leon, Gil Cortez, Elwood Perez, Joey Goshenfiao, Celso Ad Castillo, Mario J. De Los Reyes, at maraming pang iba. So, actually, sila yung mga first wave na tinatawag. And then may second wave of cinema artists that emerged, including two women directors. This is Marilu Diaz-Abaya and Loris Guillen. They explored women's issues. So, Abaya's Brutal became famous because it dealt with the harsh treatment of women in Filipino patriarchal society, and Moral, her other film, that chronicled the search of four modern-day Filipinas for the meaning of life and their role in modern Filipino society. Loris Guillen's Salome, an adaptation of the Japanese film Rashomon, and reverberates the theme of women's low position in the male-dominated Filipino social hierarchy. Then there was the establishment of government-controlled organizations, wherein here, yung ECP, nakapagbigay siya ng grant kay Peque Galiaga para sa Oro Plata Mata, Pio de Castro para sa Soltero, Abo de la Cruz para sa Misteryo sa Tuwa, and Ticoy Aguiluz for Boatman. And actually, nahirapan din ng ECP na i-shake off yung criticism sa kanila tungkol sa classifying like almost pornographic films na maging parang art films. Then, after the fall of Marcos, there was a third wave of new cinema artists. And they were also grounded in academic study and derived inspiration from the first wave of new cinema filmmakers. So, we have William Pascual for Takaw Tukso, Chito Ronyo for Itanong Mo sa Buwan, and Carlito Sibion Reyna for Mrs. Mo, Mrs. Ko, and Ihintayin Kita sa Langit. All three waves of new cinema filmmakers worked with the framework of the commercial film industry. They had the sincere goal of ridding the industry of what Pio de Castro III described as the stench of commercialism. Their struggle was threefold. They suffered the maddeningly arbitrariness of the Marcos Censorship Board, Aquino's censors later, and they competed with formulaic Filipino films, and they had to rise above Hollywood films that were imported into the country. And then for the screenwriters, we have Eduardo Del Mundo Jr., Edgardo Reyes, Ricky Lee, Roy Iglesias, Robert Ilagan, and Tetoy Cosme. So, however, during this, because it's really a prolific number of years, this martial law and after martial law, there was also the emergence of another kind of cinema in the Philippines. They called it the alternative cinema. But I don't hear the phrase anymore now, no? Kasi we already call it independent film. So this was comprised of young filmmakers, and they worked with Super 8mm film and 16mm films to produce their short films. Actually, there was a phrase used during Professor Virginia Moreno's time. They are like direct cinema filmmakers, or cinema direct. Okay, so for instance, Kidlat Tahimik was one alternative cinema member. He produced Mababangong Bangungot in Turumba. And then, of course, we also know of Raymond Red for Ang Magpakailanman. Okay, the filmmakers of the alternative cinema have sought to question certain mainstream Filipino film practices, and they explored film as a medium of communication and artistic expression. So what are the themes and messages of both this new cinema and the alternative cinema? There were two thematic paths that I found that characterized the films. The first deals with topics relevant to a changing society and used traditional Filipino narrative. The second centered on philosophical analysis and used more westernized storytelling techniques. Okay? And these two paths may converge. And as Sir Bien Lumbera describes, ang dalawang landasin ng pelikula sa kasalukuyan ay hindi magkakahiwalay. Manapay, nagdadatid ang dalawa at kung minsan, nagsasangit. Hinawan para sa mga direktor na Pilipino ang dalawang landasin ng kilusang makabayan sa Pilipinas at ng revolusyong pampelikula sa kanluran. Kaya nga, Broca's examination of social ills falls within the first thematic path. And that is evidenced in Tinimbang and Manila, and showed different kinds of oppression experienced by marginalized protagonists. The former is a study of rural small town life, while the latter is an essay on how an urban economic system can destroy the individual. Using films as a vehicle for social commentary was a primary goal of the new cinema and the alternative cinema. This explains the depth of characterization and the nature of the plot development of their films. So, for instance, conscious depiction of American abuses in the country in Minsay Isang Gamo-Gamo questions the validity of American military bases in the Philippines. Mike De Leon's Batch 81 communicates the disintegration of an individual in a fascist society through metaphorical displacement. A fraternity is used to symbolize Filipino society under dictatorship. The films of the new cinema never idealized nor fantasized about the society. Instead, they criticized it for remaining passive and submissive to the dictatorial rule of the Marcoses. The efforts of these filmmakers, in turn, have been criticized by some members of their audience. Many times, they have been accused of distorting the good image of the Filipino. The filmmakers themselves tend to view these reactions positively, their effort to create a heightened level of social awareness that they have achieved even with film censorship. So censorship is not alien to Filipinos because we are a subjugated people. Kahit noon pa, panahon pa ng Kastila, meron ng censorship. Mas grabe nga noon eh. Noong panahon ng Kastila, at bumanggit ka ng tungkol ng maganda tungkol sa Amerikano, patayin ka ng Kastila. Nung nag-reign naman ng Amerikano, magsalita ka ng tungkol sa Kastila, patay ka rin. Patayin ka rin ng Amerikano. Buti nga ngayon hindi na gano'n ang patay. Ang unang film censor ay si Guillermo de Vega. And sinabi rin niya sa isa sa mga libro niya na noong panahon na yon, hindi na siya sang-ayon sa censorship ng film. Pero kasi under din siya kay Marcos, so kailangan sundin niya yung pinagagawa sa kanya. So, when Marcos was ousted in 1986 and replaced by the symbol of the return of democracy, Mrs. Corazon Aquino, everybody thought that things would change. But apparently, it did not. Okay? And the censors board, they just replaced it with another censor's chief, but it still did everything. But the most unique filmic event that happened during Corazon Aquino's time was Lino Broca's Ora Pro Nobis. Ora Pro Nobis, its narrative is the current.